The Great Depression by Angela Nguyen and Elizabeth Luong. The Roaring Twenties was characterized as a decade of music, modern womanhood, motion pictures, automobiles, sports, and a thriving economy. America was roaring. Many Americans from rural areas moved to industrialized communities in search for a far more exciting lifestyle. The 1920s was a time when new inventions came into play. Thousands of movies were made each year, and the infamous Charlie Chaplin was as famous as Henry Ford, founder of Ford Automobiles. Automobile use increased from 6 million to 27 million vehicles. The 1920s was the time of jazz music and flappers. Flappers were sexualized young women who dressed in short skirts, who smoked cigarettes, and cursed. These women wore heavy makeup, drank, and were very opinionated. In the midst of this era, the 18th Amendment was passed, banning the sale, manufacture, and transportation of intoxicating liquor known as the Prohibition. Urban gangsters seek to acquire a share of the lucrative business in the illegal sale of alcohol, while politicians looked away as mobsters terrorized cities. Sports became very popular. Baseball player Babe Ruth was the talk of the town. The, the economy's wealth more than doubled from 1920 to 1929. On October 29, 1929, the Roaring Twenties abruptly ended when the stock market crashed on Black Tuesday. Though many people categorize the Great Depression as being caused by the stock market crash on October 29, 1929, other series of events played a role into this monumental event. Lack of regulation, inadequate control of financial systems, and poor economic policies contributed to the Great Depression. The tip of the iceberg was when the stock market crashed on Black Tuesday and more than $10 billion in market value vanished. Immediately after the crash, banks were closing, which had people scared of losing their savings, so they hurried to withdraw it. However, only some people were able to get their money back because the reserve did not have enough money, leaving everyone else bankrupt. In 1929, the cost of a share of U.S. Steel was $262, but dropped to $22 in 1932. Also, U.S. Steel employed 225,000 employees, but had none at the end of 1932. The Dust Bowl also played a part in the Great Depression. It was a natural disaster that caused a drought in the Great Plains. This catastrophe struck farmers tremendously because they could not produce any crops, thus foreclosing their land because they could not make any income. President Hoover, who was in office during the Great Depression, tried to improve the economy, but his efforts remained frivolous. The Smoot-Hawley tariff raised taxes on imported goods, which handicapped America's purchasing power. He did not support bills that created jobs, claiming it would do them a disservice. Although every industrial economy was affected, America took the hardest hit. America saw a turn for the better when President Franklin D. Roosevelt took office and implemented the New Deal. When Roosevelt came into office, the economy was severely struggling with the most horrific depression they had ever seen. In the efforts of the New Deal, the government streamlined and managed the market economy and uplifted less fortunate Americans. The New Deal consisted of acts such as the Social Security Act, which assisted the unemployed with financial issues, and the Fair Labor Standards Act, which created a new federal minimum wage. Roosevelt also created millions of jobs for young men through the Civilian Conservation Corporation. The Homeowners Loan Corporation and the Federal Housing Administration insured millions of mortgages provided by private banks. The roller coaster effect America experienced during the Great Depression helped shape America into the country we are today.